Hello everybody, welcome to the very first episode of GDR's Book Report. I'm Ryan Thomason and I'm going to be hosting this show. I read a lot of books and I want to talk about a lot of the books that I read. I try and read a lot of new books, I read a lot of old books. I'm going to warn you, it will probably be heavy on science fiction and fantasy for a little while, just because that's what I like. And I try and, I'll mix in some Stephen King or some new Neil Gaiman's or something like that. But for these first couple episodes, expect a lot of science fiction and fantasy because I've been reading a lot of books and I got a stack here that I got to talk about. So and you might see my co-host from the Geek Dad Report, Brian West, every now and then. He does not read at the pace that I do, but he does read the books that I don't really read, which is a lot of the Star Wars books and those kind of things. So Brian might be popping in every now and then, and we'll kind of see how it goes from there. So the very first book series I'm going to talk about, I've read the first 2 books. I'm currently halfway through book 3. There is 8 books in this series. It's from this little thing that you might have been hearing about lately called The Expanse. Which is a show that's had 3 seasons on the Sci-Fi Channel and is now moving to Amazon Video. I'm not going to dive too much into the storyline and stuff like that, just because if you haven't been watching the show and you do start watching the show, it'll kind of spoil stuff, and I don't want to be that guy. So I do not read the books until I've seen the season. So after seasons 1 and 2, I found out that this was a book series, and so I bought the books and I read those first 2. And I just don't want to get Game of Thrones because I did read all the books before the Game of Thrones came out. I read them way before they even the TV show on HBO came out, and it was kind of it was fun, but I kind of knew too much going in. So that's why the last couple of seasons of Game of Thrones have been fun for me, because I have no idea what's going to happen next. And so I'm going to keep with that for The Expanse. So the very first book that we have here from James S.A, which is the pen name of 2 gentlemen from from New Mexico. And that have been writing this. They're also, I believe, the co-producers on the TV show. They run the production company that does the show. So if you're kind of wondering like how much of a transition you have from the book to the TV show, it's rather seamless, but they do make a lot of changes because stuff that makes sense on for television doesn't make sense as from the book. So if something that happens in the book, it doesn't translate as well on the TV, and you have time constraints and stuff like that. So let's just try and keep whatever you know about the Expanse TV show, just keep it separate from the books, which is really amazing and well done. This is my new favorite hard science fiction series that I've read in a very long time. Essentially, humanity has conquered the solar system. Earth has branched out to Mars, the asteroid belt, the habitable planets that are in our solar system, like the Martian, like the moons and stuff that are around Jupiter and Europa and those kind of things. It's very much they stick to what is as scientifically possible. I do know that they work with a lot of astrophysicists to make sure that the stuff is, within the realms of possibility or the realms of what can actually happen with science. You're not going to get a lot of guys just, Star Trekking it up. But it is so well done that it makes me just giddy when I read the stuff. The writing style is really funny and it's fun, but it is action packed, and the character development, you do grow attached to some of these characters, like James Holden, who's kind of the main the main guy in the series that kind of he drives the plot essentially, and there's Apsarella, who is an Indian lady that like the number 3 command in the United Nations, which is basically the government that runs Earth now. And then there's Bobby Draper from the first. She is a large Samoan lady who kicks everyone's ass, and I would like to high five her someday. That's all I want to say. And it's really well written. I've become heavily invested in it, and I did not expect that to happen. The first book series, essentially, they find a protomolecule that's an alien kind of life form of sorts, and as humans are off to do, they basically try and find a way to ruin everything for everyone else in very horrific ways. And I don't want to give too much away, but after the first book, you have the second one, Caliban's War, which is essentially taking what happens from the alien molecule at the end of the first book and driving that up through the next one, and this is where we get a lot more of the Earth and Mars conflicts, and the Belters forming the OPA, the Outer Planets Alliance, and trying to give them, a sense of cohesiveness and, identity. What's been really kind of interesting, when they describe like the Belters, is, you never really think about it before. But when someone is born in outer space, and as they grow, their bone structures are different, their muscles grow different, and so when they describe the Belters in the book, their necks are longer, their limbs are longer, they're thinner because of how their bone structure grows, from living and breathing in outer space and not having a gravity well. Like Earth, with the constant 1G, gravity pushing on them, which, makes our bodies how they are, which is kind of giving me a whole different viewpoint on, space exploration and what's possible for humanity and how space exploration will change humanity if we can ever get to that point. So it's been, the first 2 books that I've read are extremely well done. I'm in love with it. It's been making me do a lot of side research on different kinds of things in astrophysics, just because it kind of makes it interesting for me. And I am halfway through the 3rd book, but I'll get to that when I finish it, because there's some crazy stuff going on, guys. There's alien stuff. There's humanity just being a bunch of humanity people that makes you go, why can't we just get better? We can't. We just gotta mess everything up. So, James S.A. Corey, I love this series. I am not gonna stop reading this series. If the show ever gets canceled, then I'm just gonna blast through all the books, because they are so damn good, and I love it. And I don't know what else I can really say. I don't want to spoil too much. So, if you like hard science fiction, definitely give these books a try. If you're a huge fan of the show, definitely read these books. They're going to give you little twists, little different variances on stuff, because like I said, some stuff works on TV that is easy to write in a book, but it doesn't translate as well onto TV. So they do have to change things around. But it's so well done. I love it. So, everyone, go to your library. Go to Barnes & Noble. Or you go to Amazon, wherever you get your books. I would say the library, it's free. And check out James S.A. Corey, the Expanse series. At least get books 1 through 3. The first 3 seasons are done. You can read the first 3 books and then start watching the first 3 seasons on Amazon Video. And then, as you're all done, you can get caught up and watch the glory that will be season 4 with the blood-soaked blood rush that's about to happen. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to ruin too much things. So, everyone, check these books out. Check any book out in general. And if you have a book series that you really love, that you want me to talk about, or you just want to talk about, leave a comment. Check us out. We're the Geek Dad Report. We're on YouTube as the Geek Dad Report. Twitter as the Geek Dad Report. I am Big Bruiser on Twitter. And you can also find us on Facebook at the Geek Dad Report. So, please like, subscribe, let me know how I did. If I get one thumbs up, I'll be happy. I'll keep doing this. I'm going to keep doing it. I got a giant stack of books that I'm going to talk about. So I hope you guys enjoyed nerding out with me. And until next time, read more books.